Hello, everyone. Welcome to the post-match review. Manchester United 2, Rangers 1. And today's show is sponsored by Butland's Butter. What is your favourite butter, lads? Let's start off with that question. And that's a deadly serious question, by the way.
What's the cheapest one that's not in a security box? Because
Butterly. It will never have a security tag. Inflation could go up 1,000,000%. And that was...
Lurpak, like what, £9 a box at this point?
I said this the other day, lads. I don't know. I think I was on with Civir and Sam Adam, but I went in Asda the other day, and there was a sale on butter, and it was honestly, and it was £6.85 the butter, and it was on sale. Lurpak, and I'm like, oh my goodness me.
What's the the big one?
Yeah. But £6.85 for some butter. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what Butland was using on his gloves, lads, but that was a shocker, that one, it, Sam.
I looked at it and Adam was just saying off camera, he was like, we didn't even look, I wasn't even really paying attention because I was like, we're taking a corner. Nothing's going to happen, is it? Like, we're taking a corner. So I was like, I'm not paying attention to this shit. And I looked up and it's in the back of the net. And I'm like, what the fuck has gone on there? And then they showed the replay and it sort of bounces like off the top of his wrist and his hand and goes behind him.
Oh, it's awful.
No idea how he's managed to do that. I've no idea how he's managed to miss it and hit it like that. But yeah, I think we had opportunities. I mean, we'll touch on the goal that was ruled out for no apparent reason. We had opportunities. We probably should have took them. And then with the equaliser, I thought it's going to cost us here because we've missed all these opportunities. But luckily got through it. But yeah, that first goal was mad. Absolute madness.
It's funny, isn't it, Adam? Because if we was ever going to get a goal, because we're so shit at scoring them, it was always going to come from a goalkeeper's mistake, wasn't it?
And if it was going to be a corner, it was going to be a goalkeeper's mistake too. It was. I had a bit of a count going. I think I got to about 28, and that was, I think, just before the Liverpool game. I think as well. So we're getting there. It's not quite. Was it 2 seasons ago? It was over 120 before we got one. And I think that goal was actually Lisandro Martinez who scored that one. I think it was against Arsenal.
When he bandaged on his head.
Yeah. And then he just fucking belly dived, didn't he, when he scored it or something? I love that. Love it.
It's just a shame we never got a decent result. We didn't deserve to lose that game. But as you said, if it was ever going to happen, it was going to be a mistake. And I wasn't even looking at the TV. I wasn't, because I was like, a corner. Okay. All right. And then I was scrolling on Twitter, and then it was just like, goal. I was like, what? So it's just unexpected.
Yeah. It does feel like the delivery is much better with Christian Eriksen on set pieces, Jimmy. I don't know if you agree.
Yeah, 100%. Him and Ahmed on the other side. Like Ahmed from the right-hand side, and I think Eriksen from the left. Yeah, and like surprisingly, like our corners look so much better today. We could have had 2 if that guy didn't die. So yeah, I mean the delivery from Eriksen was great. The one that Maguire missed the header as well. That was brilliant delivery as well. From Eriksen as well. So it's like, his distribution, his delivery, spot on.
Did the Ugarte chance come from a corner as well, where he got the header on?
Bruno's free kick, I think
it was a free kick.
Free kick. Another set piece he could have scored.
Yeah, they look good. I mean, they was copying Arsenal a little bit, I want to say. The train from the back and then separates and everyone, gets the red to it. I don't know how to feel about that game, lads. I have to be honest with you, because I watched it and I was happy that obviously we scored and the standings in the Europa League is great and all of that stuff. But let's not forget, Sam, that team is dog shit. That was a team, by the way, with bare injuries. They got injuries in the game as well, and they still give it to us. So we can't be too happy about this, can we?
No, like we should have. The goal that went in off the lick should have counted, and I think if that goes in, maybe it changes the mood a little bit, because we scored. It's quite early in the game when it was like 20 minutes or something like that.
We will get into that. Don't you worry about that.
And then we had a bunch of opportunities. There is a Garnacho one where he gets the ball and he takes an extra touch and he skims it wide.
Yeah.
There is the Harry Maguire opportunity, the Ugarte opportunity. And then we were taking pot shots from outside the box for some reason for a lot. I don't know why we were doing that. Like Bruno took a shot, Garnacho did. There was a bunch of, I was just like, why are we shooting from distance here? Like, it's just mad. And yeah, it was a bit uninspiring. What it was, what's the sort of
Shit.
diazepam football, innit? Do you know the diazepam you take it makes you feel a bit drowsy? That's what it was. It was just really not great to watch, if we're honest. So if we came away and we drew 1-1, I don't think many United fans could complain about that because we weren't good enough to sort of put it to him. And like you said, really poor Rangers team. Apart from, I think Tavernier was very, very good, their defender. And the guy who ended up getting the goal, Dessers, just had our number in that last part when he came on. So, yeah, terrible Rangers team, but we were equally as bad.
Yeah, it started off, Adam. I mean, the first glaring decision that we've already kind of brushed past a little bit. That fucking Lenny Yoro supposedly foul. How on earth could you imagine, Adam, if they give that in the Scottish Premier League in a game? Like, let's say it was Rangers versus Celtic, for example, and they went, yeah, corner. I actually think a ref would probably get murdered if he. I'm not even joking.
Oh no, they would. Like, I've watched a few old firm derbies, and like the amount of tackles that go in, and like, you know, pushing and shoving, and a lot of it's just waved on because that's how it is. And like, I don't know if it was the case of this storm that's coming, like if the wind got into the stadium, knocked them over, because it was awful. Like, I don't know what sort of person is going to get knocked to the ground. It wasn't even a shove. And I think
into him, did he?
E.T. I put E.T. on Twitter. It was literally like he just, do you know what I mean? Like a little tap, and he just fucking flew to the floor. Like, what are you doing?
And you know, it's a weird one because we scored from the corner. Then obviously disallowed shutting the bin, but that first half, I don't think we were great. That was an awful first half. For us.
No, don't sugarcoat it, mate. We were awful.
Second half, I thought we created a bit more. Looked a bit better, but that first half, we should have probably potentially been behind.
No, a couple of pickouts from me, Civir, because I always make me notes during the game just because my memory's like a goldfish, so I have to write shit down so I remember it. Bruno forcing it a little bit too much for me. He had a great, like, second half, he was much better, but there was a couple of players individually I was like Xerxes couldn't really get on the ball, Bruno forcing it. Similar patterns that you see from our players, wasn't there?
Even Ahmed wasn't good today. Like, I don't know what's up with him. He looked fit, like, you know, he had the energy, but it looked like he was just mentally, like, just tired. Like, some of the decisions he was making as well were really, really terrible. There was one where we break in, him and Bruno do like a 1-2 pass. He's in, Eriksen is to his right hand side, 3, and then he chooses to go with Xerxes, who's got 2 defenders on him. I don't know if you guys remember that. Yeah.
I was screaming at the TV. I went left, like right, and then he goes down. I'm like, for fuck's sake, man!
So many times, like there were so many times where he could have done what he was really poor today in terms of like his decision making. But that's the thing with Ahmed. Like, even when he's poor, like, he can still beat a man and, you know, stuff like that. Bruno as well was missing. Even Eriksen, for large parts, the role that he played in an advanced role. In the first half, we didn't really see too much from him, to be honest, apart from when he was taking up a corner or anything. And a lot of them were crap. Toby was the only one who played well today.
Yeah, literally. I think we should give him a shout out, you know, just because you mentioned his name there. Let me just show you some stats because they've just come up on the thing. Toby Collier became the first United midfielder on record since 2003 to record 50-plus passes on their first appearance at Old Trafford in a major European competition. Simplicity can do a lot of things, can't it? And I know you're a big fan of these kind of things.
Yeah, and he's a fan of the channel as well, I think. Doesn't he follow us?
Yeah, he follows us and he likes
Toby!
photos and stuff. So shout out.
There we go. Yeah, but like, I mean, he was the only one that was impressive today. Not just because obviously we're fans, but just to be honest, like no one else really stood out in the first half apart from him. And like Nick said, he kept it simple. And his decision making as well is just so, like, he always makes the right pass, even if it doesn't go through. There's always the right decision, almost always. Let me just put it that way. But yeah, there weren't too many good performances in the first half.
No, I think the theme, Sam, and I've seen a lot of people describing it as this: awkward. We seem very awkward in games, don't we? Do you know what I mean? Like, are they going to do it? Are they not? It's a little bit like, oh, they've got something there. Like, there was some patterns of play where I actually thought the tempo and the way they're shifting it, I was like, okay, that's quite nice. But then other times, defensively, like I think the prime example, we can go straight to it, the goal that they scored, I know it was amazing by the striker, the touch on the goal.
Oh, the touch, yeah.
But the long ball and the Maguire defending.
Yeah. It's, as a centre-back, you can't let a ball drop behind you. Like, you just can't. Like, if you let the ball drop behind you, that is big
Don't
mistake.
let it bounce. It's the first thing you learn.
Like, just get your fucking head on it, get something out, or get yourself in front of it. Because as soon as it bounces over your head, you know he hasn't got the mobility to turn and get a hold of him. And you know he hasn't got the speed to get like in front of him. So as soon as that happens, you're like, oh shit, this is not good. But then fair credit to the Dessers guy, the touch and the finish was fucking phenomenal. Like, absolutely fantastic finish. So all credit to him. But yeah, if that mistake doesn't happen, does he get that ball? Probably not. And yeah, it was weird. Like, there was a bunch of sort of weird stuff happening with the defense. Like, Yoda went off with a knock, apparently. Delict, is he injured? Don't know.
Can I just pick at that for a second?
Yeah.
It does annoy me a little bit when if Delict is injured, then that's fine. But if you're tinkering still with your backline mid-game, I'm not a fan of that.
No. And then Maguire was holding his thigh at times as well.
Yeah. Maybe they are just.
I'm not sure. Can we touch on Dallo at some point as well? Because fuck me, is he terrible today? Just awful. But yeah.
Can I just say, terrible at left back. But he looked decent in the.
He was all right when he moved to right centre back.
Yeah, when he moved to right centre back, he was really good.
Yeah.
And it helps our attack even more when he's in that position in the right centre back. Because when we press forward with the defenders, you know, whenever we have them camped in their half and the ball comes out, he's got the really good passing and stuff. So yeah, it's just I think this whole thing is just a problem of like imbalance, like players not playing in positions that really get the best out of them. To be fair,
the whole system is built for wing backs, and we have zero. Like, we don't have a single one.
No one fits there, do they?
We're playing Ahmad is the only one who can actually play there, but he's not technically a wing back, and everybody else is shit at it. They're awful.
This system needs a high level of ingenuity from the players, especially the attacking players, and we clearly don't have that. And I think I don't want to get on his back, but he has to. Nah, he has to. Honestly, he really has to adapt. The manager.
Oh, why though?
Because the way we're playing now, it's not sustainable at all. If we're struggling to even break down, you said it, like this is a Rangers team that is completely void of any quality. When you watch, okay, so I'm just a fan, right? But I can only just say what I see, basically. When we have the ball and we're progressing it, it's 3 centre backs. The 2 holding midfielders sit behind our line. Then you've got 2 banks of the attackers. Literally, we're outnumbered in the attack. Like, there's no options. If you watch the way we play, like, I don't see any options. Every time the player gets the ball on the wing, he's completely outnumbered. The closest person to him is at least, 2 meters away. So I don't see how it works until maybe, I don't know if he has some other plan or going forward, like he has to adapt the system to just give us more chances. Because if we play any properly organized, bro, they will have us. Like, I had a lot of confidence going into the Europa League, just looking at teams and looking at us. But after this game, like, I really don't have any confidence in us going forward. Like, if we meet like Sociedad or like Lazio, like, they'll easily have us.
I've just seen Nick. Ruben Amorim, Delict and Yoro felt something in their leg. We couldn't risk anything. We had to protect the players. So there you go. Delict had a knock or something.
That's fair enough. Adam, I'll swing that question to you because there are some people at the moment saying that maybe you should change it up. I'm fully on the belief that I think you should stick to your core principles, and if you want to drive the basics and fundamentals into these players of how you want to play the system, I think scrapping that up now and changing it, for me personally, just my opinion, I wouldn't want to do that. I want to kind of give in to these players slightly.
Sorry, I'm not saying change. I'm just saying adapt.
Okay, well, I'll come back to you in a minute in terms of elaboration on that. But Adam, talk to me about how do you feel about it? The setup.
Well, it feels like when Ten Hag came in, with what we were expecting, this kind of Ajax style football, and he dropped it very, very early on, and it feels like that's when he signed his debt warrant. At the club, looking back at his time, and this is why I kind of want the manager to stick with his idea. I know we can't get rid of a lot of these players, like say in one go, they're going to have to be eased out. But if you want, like I think he said it in one of his first press conferences as well. You have to start from day one. You do, because we'll be at this again in a couple of months at the start of next season. It'll be the same story if we try and reverse it and do it all over the the preseason. So I get why he's sticking to his guns, but as Civir said, I want to see some adaptation. He has to adapt something, change something up a little. Like maybe do something that he hasn't, like experiment a bit, just show something new rather than, because we go into the game and we know how we're going to play again. And that was expected under Ten Hag, and you can see it again. We look lost. We're not creating enough. I know we created a few chances tonight, but like as Civir said as well, when we come up against the top sides, they're going to tear us to shreds. They are.
Sorry, I thought he was gonna. I thought it was like, 'cause when you speak at him, they always have big gaps between like when you make your next point. So I was like, I don't want to interrupt him. But yeah, I agree with it. There's got to be some form of adaptation, Sam. There's got to be something, tweak something. I don't know what that is, because the difference is when we bring different players in, when we try to change something, they look as shit. When we try to bring Casemiro in and other players, Malacio, even when he came, I thought there was some sticky bits from him today.
Today.
Yeah.
I thought it was decent today.
Nah, it made too many like rough kind of passes, weird decision making.
Rash tackles as well. He made a couple of rash tackles. Like
he had some good moments. Don't get it twisted, but
I think. Well, go on. Sorry. Go on.
No, sorry. I think the jury's out on a lot of these players. That's a general consensus in it. So, kind of mixing stuff up, Sam.
Yeah.
I don't know, how do you do that? So it's almost $1 million question, isn't it?
I understand where Civir's coming from with his point. I don't think any system is going to suit these players. I just don't think these players are good enough. Like for a long time, Civir was saying these players are better than we think they are. Like they are, and then he finally come round to the thing that they're probably not at this point. And I think that's where we're at. I just don't think any. Yeah, I don't think 90% of these players I just don't think are good enough. They don't have the mentality, they don't have the thing and stuff like that. And people go, why are they going to other clubs and doing better? Because the pressure is lower, the focus is less harsh, and it's less demanding. That's why Elanga's succeeding at Forest. That's why Scott McTominay looks like a fucking god in Napoli. Do you know what I mean? Like the shirt of Man United and the spotlight and the pressure is a different fucking level. And there's so many people who can't handle it. And I just think a bunch of them are just not built for this team. And until he sort of gets rid of most of them and brings in players and stuff like that, this is what it's going to be like. Doesn't matter what system you play. Ten Hag system didn't work. Ollie's system worked for a bit, and then they eventually sort of tired of that shit as well. And he tried to change it into more possession-based thing, and they were like, "Oh, we're not having that." Ragnick lasted 45 minutes against Crystal Palace before they went, "Fuck doing that ever again." So I just think most of the players aren't good enough, and I think until you change that, recruitment is number one. So until you change that, I think this is the way it's going to be, no matter who the manager is.
Civir, allow you to counter what you should say. Go.
Yeah, so just two things I'll touch on very quickly in regards to the adaptation. One of his early press conferences when he came, he said people were focusing too much on his system being a back three. And he said it doesn't matter if it's a back three or a back four or back five.
Yeah.
It's the same principles. Yeah. And I'm not sure what this principle is, but clearly the formation can change. And it's not about how we position ourselves. It's about the principle. So I think he can get to a point where he can move players around or change the formation, still keep the principle. So that's what I mean when I say I think he needs to adapt to a certain level. I always feel obliged to go at Sam. I think this is one of the ones where me and Sam are going to be arguing this until we're both 100 years old.
I get a popcorn. Where's it at?
Until we're 100 years old.
I've not got popcorn, but I've got bourbons. So.
I think two things can be true. I think the players can be shit, but the system also can be bad as well. Can be, won't allow them to flourish. And I think those things are true. I just don't believe that. And I think now I'm going to be sticking to my guns because sometimes, like everyone else, I'm easily swayed sometimes. I watch games and I think, okay, maybe they're not that good. I think that actually, because on paper, if you take our players and look at Bournemouth's players, there's no way on paper you're telling me that they have better quality than us, player for player. But as a team, they're a lot better than us. That's why they play better than us, right? Now, you have to have a system that allows all this, you have to have a system where it's a balanced system where the players can flourish in their positions, where you're not trying to screw players into positions and stuff. Now, with Amorim, he's coming here, and it's like, we all know that this philosophy or style of play is revolutionary. We're the only ones that play like this. There's no one else. It's very, very hard to adapt. So I'm willing to give them time, but I also think that the system doesn't allow the players to flourish. At the same time, yes, we have terrible players. Like you see Dallo in that left wing back, and sometimes Mazraoui is not up to it. Sometimes Xerxes is crap. Sometimes Hoyland has been crap for a long time. So I think both things can be true, but I just don't subscribe to the idea that the players are crap. They've been doing this. It's a whole new set of players now, and it's still happening. So that's just how I feel about it.
I think we have a mixed bag of recruitment. So if we need to make some kind of adaptation, which you can go throughout the full team, there are going to be flaws in every single player. If we go back to, let's go back to, with two pivots and the way we was playing under 10, let's go over a 4-2-3-1. I know Amorim talks about it's more about principles or whatever, but let's just say you have those two players in there. You go back, all right, okay, Casemiro goes back in here, Bruno goes back as the 10, back to counter-attacking foot. He's still going to get flaws whichever way you go, because the recruitment has been so bad over the past God knows how long. This group of players, you have ones who aren't athletically capable, and there's a lot of them. You've got ones who aren't even technically capable on the ball. They're not good. They're not great. So you've got such a clumped up kind of thing. It's like, what fucking system or unit does suit them? I don't know. I don't know if there's a coach that can come in and do that. I remember Tuchel going in at Wolves instantly when Lampard was conceding shitloads of goals, right? Tuchel could come in straight away, showed them up. They look solid defensively. And I think that's more because he had the profile of players to do that with. You Rudigers, Mounts, these kind of guys, like athletic, strong people. You can do that. With this now coming in, it's like, what are you supposed to do? You've got a bag of shit, basically, is what you... I'm not even... Like, that's what you're working with. So it's hard for a manager. I don't know how you get the best out of these players, because I don't rate a lot of them, genuinely. So, I don't know, man. I'll go to the comments and then I'll take a breather for a second and I'll come back to you. Right, let's see what everyone else is saying. Rayanator, another late winner for us after Sunday. It's all that mattered. But God, do we make it hard for ourselves. Random guy saying, I think Napoli are taking the piss. 50 million package, including add-ons for any wonder kid, let alone Garnacho, is straight up disrespectful. We'll talk about Garnacho next. Dallo was out of position on their goal. He should have had Maguire's back. Leach was absolutely class today. Bayern Deer played great. The Molassie sub made us a little flat. Yeah, I did like the Sandro today. I have to admit, I did like him. I'm a fan.
Bayern Deer as well. Like he didn't spill any of his shots, which is amazing. Yeah.
Adam, do you give Bayern Deer a run now? Run of games?
Oh, definitely, especially after last was it Sunday? I know he couldn't do much for the goal. It was a really, really good finish. I don't blame him for that.
Yeah.
He made one or two big kind of stops as well very early on in the first half. Yeah. But after that, who were we playing against? I'm trying to remember. Arsenal. It was Arsenal. When he played. And he obviously had a really, really good game, man the match. That alone probably should have got him a start. And I think Amorim will give him a start. I think I might see it now.
I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so too. I won't mind. I did tweet out before that Arsenal game as well that it's on Amorim starting.
You weren't the only one, mate. The amount of tweets I saw on that before the game. Honestly, so you weren't the only one.
It's completely flipped now, and that's football. It's results business, and look what happened with Onana last week. So, you have to reward the keeper now. He hasn't really put a foot wrong since, I suppose, that corner, and it might have been chalked off had there been VAR in that game as well. You have to remember as well. I know he didn't cover himself in glory that game, but he didn't really. He let the goal in at the end, but he it mightn't have stood anyway. But I'd probably start him for the Fulham game. He's a good shot stopper, a lot better than I thought he was. He's quite tall too. Is he taller than Onana?
6'6".
Yeah, he's big.
6'6". Yeah, he's a big lad too. So you kind of need, especially how we are at corners as well. You have to remember, because having someone who's a bit tall in the box, especially who can use their hands, is always a plus.
Stop it! You did that on purpose. Now is this what happens when Adam comes on?
Every time he's on the show, this
there's a sexual reference. There's something in there.
Innuendo or something, and then Nick breaks down, and then that's it.
No, look, he's a lot better at collecting the ball anyway. The balls.
Hey,
the
high balls.
Too many. I think he does deserve a run, to be fair. And I think this is kind of. Do you remember with Henderson and De Gea, where it was kind of like team, and you're like, oh, is he going to get it? Is he not? And there's a bit of uncertainty. I think the pendulum is swinging a little bit. If I was Onana at the moment, I'd certainly be looking over my shoulder. Oh, fucking hell.
You made that one by yourself.
And then I thought of Onana looking over like that.
Nobody even said that one. You literally had the scenario in your own brain there.
Can we talk about Garnacho? Because that was another big talking point before the game.
Smashing it.
No. But genuine question. What do we do here? Because you got Napoli, who are offering a lot of money. You've got Chelsea, who are offering more.
A lot of money,
well, 50 million-ish is the region. And then Chelsea talking 60 million, right? So what do we do? Because he had a lot of the fans screaming his name today, Sam.
Whoever's got the price, like if you've got 70 million plus, pay up.
Would you sell him though? Is my point. Are you happy for him to go?
If he get for the right price, yeah, absolutely. Not for 50 million, not for 59 million, no. But for the right price, absolutely.
Do you think he's worth more than 59?
Yes.
Why?
He's 20 years old. His potential is really, really high if you can sort of take the time to develop him and sort out his decision makings and stuff. And he's been brought through the sort of academy and stuff like that. So I think, you've got City selling James Trafford for 20 million and all these bunch of players like that. And Garnacho's not worth that. Don't he have like one of the highest goals and assist records in like Europe or something like that? Like
he was like top 5 Golden Boy.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
And he's like one of Europe's.
That's what I'm saying.
If we bought Haaland for 70 fucking million.
Yeah.
That's because we did it. Because we're fucking idiots.
That's right. Say Garnacho's at Atletico, same record as he's at United, same performance and stuff like that, and we go to try and buy him. How much are they charging us?
Well, let me throw this back at you. How much of Napoli just sold Kvaratskhelia for?
70?
Yeah, and he's a far better player than Garnacho.
No, but
wasn't that due to his contract?
Yeah, his last
year. His contract. He had a year or two left on his deal.
Yeah,
it weren't like he was imminent.
Yeah, since he signed for them, he'd never had a contract renewal or so. So it was like from his old sort of contract. Like they probably dropped the ball on that one, selling him in January as well. Like if they wanted, he's like a summer signing. He's the big money summer signing. Mm-hmm. So for them to let him go at whatever 60, whatever odd million it was, that was down to their own carelessness. But then that has nothing to do with us. Like we have had our pants pulled down in the transfer market for ages. Like it's about time we start. Yeah, it's about time to start getting some money. We spent stupid money on players like Mason Mount, like Anthony, like Højlund. I mean, it's crazy. And then none of these guys have actually, given us anything really. So if we're spending that kind of money on those players, and then Garnacho, who this season has been one of our best performers, then why don't you really let him go for 50 million or 59 million? Like he's probably worth that, right? I get what you're saying, Nick. He's probably worth that sort of amount, but I
just don't think because we're stupid. Just because we're stupid at paying prices, other teams. I mean, I'll take. I'm not moaning. If we got 70 plus million, obviously I'd be fucking ecstatic and reinvest the money. But I'm not saying just because we bought Højlund for 70 and we bought Anthony for 85 and we did all this. Doesn't mean other teams go, well, they were stupid. So.
But then that's also a reflection on the market as well.
Yeah.
So,
he's got years left on his deal. We're under no pressure to sell him. So if they want to come in and pay the price, then pay the price. If not, we'll keep him. Like, it's that simple. This is not a desperation sale. This is not a Marcus Rashford where we're trying to get him out the door. Garnacho, he played tonight. He's played quite a few games this season. We're not in a thing to sell him. But if somebody wants to come in and pay the price...
I think we are, though, if you look at PSR.
We're not like PSR, like that article I read today, if we continue on the path we have been doing, then we're in trouble. Yeah. But we're not under desperation right now. Like this year, we're going to be fine. Like this PSR year, we're fine. So we're fine this year.
Why do you guys think we're trying to like really sell this guy? Because like a lot of our players aren't that good. But I don't think Garnacho should be like first on the list to leave. Like there should be there's quite a few other players that we should be thinking of getting rid of before players like Garnacho, because players like him
because you can't sell him.
What do you mean?
The players that should go before him aren't sellable.
All right, okay. So it's purely for.
That's an opportunity, basically.
Yeah.
That's the way they're looking at it.
It's just purely for funds, yeah. And okay, unless that, because I mean, if he goes, like squad depth is just I know in the bin. Really.
We've got no attackers anyway. Like if he goes and then Rashford goes, who do we have?
Can I just ask, Adam, who would you bring in? Because they have to replace him, don't they? If they do get 60, 70 million pounds for him, that can't go in the back pocket, can it? They have to go and get a player who suits the system. Because if that's what they're putting out there, saying, well, they're open to selling Garnacho because Amorim doesn't see him necessarily as a fit, then you go spend that money, don't you? You don't just put it aside and like deal with what you got.
But that's the thing. Where are you going to get someone this late? Because if you sell him now, you have to bring somebody in now. That's my attitude with it, because you're just hampering us for the rest of the season, and we're already in a bad position. We're making ourselves weaker, and we're just above a relegation scrap. So, like, do you take the risk with that? Like, having someone like that, obviously, he's played a lot more under Amorim than Rashford as well. So, if we were to let the likes of Garnacho go and say Rashford stays, what then? Because he doesn't want to play Rashford by the looks of it. So who do you play there? I don't want to see Eriksen start out on the right and then maybe Bruno on the left. You have no pace then. And like you need to
Xerxes is your striker as well. Look at everything's being playing in the half space, isn't it?
And we're not too far from that.
And Eriksen's legs fall off after 60 minutes as well. So it's not like you can play him for 90 minutes either.
So there's nobody you can really bring in this late in the window as well. You'd have to wait till the summer then, and you're kind of looking at it. Okay, who wants to come to us given the position that we're in? Keeping these players, I think, will be important. Like I know his football IQ was a bit in the bin. He's kind of a bit stupid in his decision making, and he's rash. Yeah, but he's only 20 years old, and like that stuff, you can iron that out. Like I'm sure you remember Ronaldo's early days. I know I'm doing that comparison, but in his early days, but he, again, stupid things. And Roy Keane as well used to kind of get on to him a good bit, but there's nobody in that dressing room to kind of kick him up the arse that he kind of needs. He needs to kick up the arse right now. And it's a weird one, because I do think he is a good player, a bit selfish. He just needs to kind of be a bit more of a team player. And the sky is his limit there as well. And I think we need someone like him in the team in this competition if we want to win it, because if we win it, like, we're in Europe next season. That's the reality of it.
Yeah.
Civir, do you remember Nani? Like, you remember Nani? Nani was one of the most frustrating players on the planet. Like, honest to God, would make you pull your hair out. He walks into this fucking team, by the way. Like, walks into this team is easily our best attacker. Like,
yeah, but Nani was class.
Yeah, but you remember you used to pull your hair out. Some of the shit you do. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying with Garnacho. Like, this shit happens with players. Like, you bring in players and they're frustrating as fuck, but sometimes they can become something. And that's what I'm saying. Nani was that type of player. So I think at 20 years old, it's a bit harsh to sort of write him off completely. I think if he was 27 like Rashford is, then you'd be like, okay, he's not going to change this.
I'm not writing him off.
It feels a bit rushed. It feels a bit rushed to me, the way they're trying to like.
I get it.
Like, it just feels rushed, and I won't mind the money, but I just don't see the reason why. Like, it just doesn't make sense right now. Like Adam was saying, like, we've only got, we've got like 7 days to the end of the month.
Yeah.
So if we sell him tomorrow,
Good point. That.
Like, yeah. Then what's going to happen? Like, who are we going to bring
Scrambling for an Igalo at the end of the window.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness me!
In his United pajamas, ready to go like last time.
Have to replace him. That's the one for me. If they don't do that, I'd honestly, I'd lose my shit with Ineos.
There'll be a riot at Old Trafford.
Genuinely.
If you do that,
we took 70, and then like, but what business are we doing? And they're like, oh, don't worry about that. Nothing. You're like, what? Yeah. That, yeah. Bringing it back to
pops into my head. Like right now, I don't know if he's up for sale, but apparently West Ham are looking at him.
Duran.
Duran. And
I like him, but he's a fiery character.
He is a fiery character.
He's got an attitude problem.
Yeah, there's been a few flags about that. But I do like him.
If you get that right, though. If you get that right.
Yeah.
Like, there's a player there, someone he can finish. He knows how to score.
Didn't West Ham reject like a £52 million bid, though? Or something like that?
I think something like that, yeah.
Villa rejected the bid, did they?
They offered. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. West Ham bid for him, and then Villa rejected it. Let's bring it back to the Europa League, lads, because we did kind of get sidetracked. It's probably my fault to speak about Garnacho. But Sam, we are 4th in the Europa League. You know, take that for whatever you will. Top 4, baby. Top 4.
The only league that we're going to be top 4 in.
Yeah, so this is all that matters at the minute. United fans aren't asked about the Premier League anymore. That's done and dusted. Let's be honest about that. As long as we don't get relegated, that's what probably most people are thinking. But we are 4th. In our last 5 games, 4 wins and a draw as well. So regardless of... there is context to that because the performances haven't been great.
They're all shit.
They're all shit. But we're dragging ourselves through. Could we go all the way?
I mean, if you get through the automatic qualification, which... we're looking good for. Like, do we just need a draw against FC,
I think so.
SB or something?
Yeah.
And we're in. So, I think Amorim was really sort of banging on about that, saying we want to miss out that playoff thing. So he gets 2 weeks off and time to train and stuff. So hopefully that's beneficial for us. And then it just depends on the luck of the draw, doesn't it? Afterwards, who we get. Like,
I think we avoid Lazio, though, if we get into the automatic qualification because it's on both different sides.
Yeah. So, it just depends on the draw. And I think if you can face like caliber teams like Rangers and FCSB and stuff like that, then you might find yourself looking your way to a final, get wins, but not play great and get in the final. And then in the final, anything can go because we saw that against City in the FA Cup. We were fucking awful all season.
Yeah.
And we won. So... you never know if you can get to a final. Like it doesn't matter what happens. Like you can get to the final, but it just depends on the luck of the draw, I guess. Like it depends which teams we get.
Yeah, Civir, we've spoken so many times about this Europa League thing and saying now should we all the eggs and the chicken in the basket at this point, just fucking full steam ahead.
Farm, just the farm,
whole farm, everything, absolutely, just go all out. Because do you think we can actually win it, or is it a case of you just think we should do it just because it's the only thing that we could? 5%, 10% that we could do something.
Well, before this game, I felt that was the most realistic that we could win.
So it's dropped after a win.
Yeah. Yeah, before today's performance, like I thought, my expectation, even on the, maybe it's similar to what it was under Ten Hag, but my expectations now super low, like really low. I don't see anything in the attack. Like defensively, we're decent. Like I have a little bit of, but then going forward with the ball, if we're not going wide, we can't break through the middle. Like it's so difficult. And then when we do, we're so vulnerable for the counter. It's crazy. Whenever they get the ball, we're trying to break through. Like so, we don't even need to face like a really dominant side. We just need to face an organized team, and they'll punish us. So this is after seeing today's performance. It's just like. I think we should focus on this cup, but I don't think it's as realistic as I thought it would be. I thought, looking at the names of the teams on there, I thought maybe there's a high chance that if we avoid Tottenham, maybe avoid Lazio, we could do it. But now we're struggling to beat Rangers. Like, come on.
That's shit Rangers. That's not an average Rangers.
Crap
That's
Rangers.
a very shit team.
Bro, we meet Besiktas, we're in for it. Like,
Ollie's destroying us.
Do not put that into the air, please. I do not want to play them.
It's gonna happen.
And I literally just picked the name out of thin air. Like Besiktas, one of them just regular teams. Like that's our level right now, unfortunately.
Like, we drew 1-1 against FC Twente, who are the lowest ranked team in Europe.
Yeah.
Like, that's where we are.
If we do win it, that's like, how shit are the other teams if we do manage to get through this and win it? Because we have been god awful. Just the last question, Adam, because we wrap it up against the 40-minute mark. Play Fulham on Sunday. Very energetic team, very organised team. It always already feels like a struggle, doesn't it? Even before a ball's been kicked.
Yeah, a difficult game. I can't remember the last time we've gone to Craven Cottage, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it was the Garnacho winner 3-4 years ago, or whatever it was.
Before the World Cup, wasn't it? It was the last game before.
Yeah, that was the debut. That's the debut goal. His first goal for us as well. Yeah, really good.
Like, I can't remember us playing really, really good there. Like, the last time we played, had a good game there. I know we've kind of done a snatch and grab there once or twice now in the last few years, but given where we are, where they are, they're looking good. Are they 8th in the table? I think they're kind of up there pushing for Europa League position.
Really well, man.
Yeah, it's a weird one because the league, like all these kind of teams that have always been in between these smaller teams, they've improved immensely. They've got managers in with good ideas. They're tactically setting up better, and we just can't follow simple tactics. I don't see any kind of enthusiasm, any, what would the word be, kind of get up and go from our squad. So we're going into this game, and I can't see anything other than a loss, really. Draw is, I can't see us winning.
This is a team, Sam, that's beaten Chelsea, Arsenal. They've got good results against Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool, Tottenham, and Newcastle. None of them teams have beaten. I don't know if it was home or away. It's a bit of a frightening one, isn't it? Going into it. I don't want to be that negative guy, but
no, that you're honest. That's where we're at. All these teams, like Adam just touched on, the sort of middle pack of the teams, like I said, they've improved massively, and the drop off from us and Spurs has been insane. That's why they're like in that part of the table. Bournemouth, one of the most organised, decent teams in the league, absolutely smashed us, just battered us like pillar to post. Brighton, another good team, well organised. These players cost half of what we got. Absolutely battered us at Old Trafford. Newcastle gave us a hiding. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it was one of the worst performances ever. Like, Casper and Ericsson, you remember that against Newcastle? Jesus Christ.
Walking Dead.
Like, and Fulham are in that category. They're in that sort of space of like the Bournemouths and the Brightons and the Newcastles and stuff. They're in that space. So you can't see anything other than, they're going to hand our ass to us. The only sort of positive you can have is it's not at home. Our away record seems to be a little bit better away from home than it does at home, because at home we get battered by Bournemouth, by Brighton, by Newcastle. We just get shit kicked out of us. But at Arsenal did pretty well. At Liverpool away did pretty well. That's probably the only nugget of like sort of hope you can hold on to, that we're better away from home and maybe we can salvage something. But yeah, there's not a lot of hope, put it that way.
No. And if you can, Civir, just see us out with some, maybe some words that you find in a fortune cookie for the boys who are playing Fulham on Sunday.
Give us some optimism, Chivy.
Yeah, let's see some optimism.
Play like you
came to the wrong time. Wrong time. I can't even think of anything, honestly.
No, it's all right. Just say we shit, and we can leave it at that if you want.
Where are we now? We're really crap. We are crap.
Yeah.
Oh,
crap. He's got an explicit.
This is what we do. This is what we do. We're Man United. We play crap, and then somehow just end up in the final, and then win. Like, this is what we do. We did this against Coventry. Yeah, we scraped through against Coventry. Oh shit, we're in the final with City, and then we fucking won.
So that's the plan, boys. There you go. There's your motivation. We're gonna scrape all the way to the end of the season. Take whatever the fuck we can get, and hopefully somehow we'll end up with a trophy by the end of it.
Do you remember the Simpsons episode where Homer becomes a boxer, but he can't fight, but he's got like a sort of protection around his brain, so he just takes a beating until the other fighter gets tired and falls down.
And then he just goes like that, doesn't he?
He ends up in like a heavyweight championship fight because that's United at this point. We just get battered. But the other team just sort of falls off, and then we're like, "Oh, we won, we're through." That's what we are. Like, that's literally who we are at this point.
It's the rope-a-dope tactic from Amorim's boys. I appreciate everyone in the chat. Sorry we couldn't get through as many comments because obviously there's 4 of us on today and we're going through quite a bit of stuff. But appreciate all of you tuning in. I know some of you don't watch this live and you watch it later on, so get your comments in equally as well. Smash a like on the video for us. We're 9 subs off 11,300. So if there is anyone new and you've enjoyed the content, you've enjoyed the chat, hit that subscribe button and we will be back tomorrow for an afternoon show, Premier League predictions, all that good stuff. Thank you to Sam, Civir and Adam for your time, gentlemen. And we'll see